Hello and welcome to episode 30 of my Minecraft Technic Hardcore Modded Skyblock tutorial Let's Play series. In this episode we shall do the quest Autocrafting for Beginners. Now this is where the mod Applied Energistics and Minecraft in general truly begins to shine. There are just so many things that you can do and I love it all, because it just really is like brain candy with a lot of the things you can work out that to make your life in Minecraft so much easier. There are all sorts of benefits. So let's take a look at the do you know what, I keep doing this wrong. I flipped this switch last time and of course all that did is stop my item duct from taking stuff out, and this just makes so much racket. What I should have done was got my crescent hammer and done that. There, that's cut the power to it. So although it's still got a bit of power, it's going to run out and stop. So let's check the quest journal. Okay, if we take a look, you'll see leaving the Stone Age, I'm now at 60% completed, but let's take and open up the quests. So here we are going along here. Oh my goodness, you can see we're only 3 away from completing the Applied Energistics side of it. Okay, but this episode is on Autocrafting for Beginners, so let's begin. Now it's time to cover the third use of the interface, because remember we only looked at 2 of the uses for the interface, and well, the interface is just a fantastic item, as you're going to see. The third use of the interface allows you to automatically craft certain items. In this example we're going to set up glass on demand. Place an interface against a redstone furnace and connect it to your network. If the interface is next to more than one machine, then you can use your crescent hammer to make the arrow pointing towards the machine you want to use. Now you need to make a pattern encoder. This is another Applied Energistics block that does not need to be connected to the network. So let's make an ME pattern encoder. And you'll be pleased to hear that I've actually tidied up my mess a little bit, so I actually know now where to look, as incredible as that may sound. So if we go in here, what we want is an ME pattern encoder, so it's this third one. Okay, so in order to make an ME pattern encoder you need 6 iron, a crafting table and a conversion matrix. That gets us the ME pattern encoder, which I've made one already, so let's grab that. And in the last episode, my apologies, I didn't show you how to make the Certus quartz tank, so let's do it. It's of course making 7 quartz glass and an ME cable, and the quartz glass is made with the Certus quartz, 5 of them and 4 glass. So there we go, that's the Certus quartz tank done. But we're looking at the ME pattern encoder, so it doesn't need to be powered by the ME network, so I can just plonk it down just there. Okay, let's check the quest journal. That's done. Moving on. Blank pattern. Now craft a blank pattern and put it in the top left of the pattern encoder. Now place a piece of sand on the left of the crafting grid and a piece of glass on the right. So let's do that. We need to make a blank pattern. So let's look where I put the blank patterns. Not there. Ah, here. So to make a blank pattern you need 3 iron, 2 glass, 3 glowstone and 1 Certus quartz. It's quite expensive, wouldn't you agree, for a blank pattern? But having said that, this is where it just gets ultra cool, as you're going to see. Let's grab a couple more. In fact, let's have 20 of them. Why not? I need to do a ton of these, because what this has now made redundant. Oh, I'll need a couple of them. Let's keep them there for now. What this has made redundant is these, the machinist workbenches. These will all now be redundant, although I am still using them for demonstration purposes. Anyway, so what we're going to need for this is a piece of sand and a piece of glass. So let's grab some sand and glass. There we go. Okay, so coming back to here, the ME pattern encoder. Welcome to the most wonderful thing that you could possibly imagine. So we need to first put our blank patterns up here. Okay, now like it said, we need to put the sand on the left and the glass on the right. Okay, this is your crafting grid. This is where you place items that will make an output item, and the output item you put here. So the recipe goes here, the finished product goes here. Once you've done that, click encode, and it grabs one of the blank patterns and it puts the pattern for this, turning sand into glass into here. Cool. Okay, let's check the quest journal. So now place a piece of sand on the left of the crafting grid and a piece of glass on the right output slot. Hit encode, and now your pattern should be encoded with sand to glass. You can shift right click on an encoded pattern to erase the pattern, so that's very cool to know if you make one by mistake. Now take the encoded pattern and place it in one of the bottom slots of the interface. Now you can request glass from your terminal and it will be crafted into the redstone furnace. Make sure you have an importer attached to that furnace. If you already have glass, you can switch the terminal to displaying craftable items only. Basically, what you've done is told the interface, I promise that if you put sand in this attached inventory, the network will eventually get glass. Try not to make promises you can't keep. Well, we are going to keep this promise, and I'm going to show you how we keep this promise. But I'm going to go 1 step or 10 steps further than that and show you some other wonderful examples of all of what this is just spoken about. So we're now going to be using our ME interface, and we're going to be interfacing with a redstone furnace like the quest journal said, but we're also going to be interfacing with a pulverizer. Why not? I want to make this clear to y'all how you use this, what it's talking about. So okay, I've already made the redstone furnace and the pulverizer. I'm not going to waste time remaking them in front of you because I've shown you already how to do that. So round the back, just to show you what I've done. So here's the redstone furnace. Underneath it is the power, and I've just run a power cable all the way along for the pulverizer and the redstone furnace. So they're both getting power. You can see that when I hover over them, 24,000 RF, and that's got 48,000. So that's the power underneath. Now for applied energistics, I've got a basic import bus attached to the output of the redstone furnace. It only needs to be a basic because you're going to see once this starts working it's not very quick, and this has plenty of time to pull the items out one at a time. So we don't need to waste a basic processor on upgrading it to a precision import bus. Next, ignore the middle one, that's just an ME cable. And finally in the back of the pulverizer I've got another basic import bus. Again, you only need basic because when the furnace and the pulverizer are working, they keep up the basic import bus keeps up with them, their operation. Okay, so to make this cool, what we're going to do is we're going to put an ME interface here in the middle of my crafting terminal and the redstone furnace. So I'm going to shift right click, that places it down. Now because this interface is between the terminal and the furnace, and because this interface is between the redstone furnace and the pulverizer, we need to tell these interfaces what they're going to be interfacing with. So to do that, like the quest journal said, in the default state when you first place it down it looks like this, but we need to tell it that we want this interface to interface with the furnace. So we right click once, notice the up arrows now pointing at the crafting terminal. We don't want that, so we right click again, Now it's pointing south, it's pointing down. So now it's pointing at the redstone furnace. So that's good, that's where we want to leave it. Okay, now we right click on the interface, and the quest journal told us to put in here the glass to sand. So let's do that. Notice how the graphics now change to what the output item's going to be, and notice that it tells us crafts 1 glass with 1 sand. What does that mean to you? Is it any good to man or beast? Yes, it is. What we're going to do, if we now go into the crafting terminal, and if we click this button up here, at the moment it always defaults to view stored and craftable, but we want to narrow it down because we're getting a ton of stuff in here. So if we click once, it goes to stored items. If we click again, it goes to craftable items. Now, because I've just placed that sand to glass pattern in the interface, it's now appearing in our terminal as a craftable item. So now, if I want to craft some glass, all as I have to do is left click on it, and let's just do 1. Oh, alright, let's do 1. Begin. Now it's going to be so quick that you won't see it, and if I click on it, well, there you go, you just see the last of it just quickly finishing. But let's demonstrate with something else. Now remember, around the back of my furnace I have that basic import bus, so that's how the stuff got pulled out of here. Okay, now let's take a look at some more things that you can actually do with this. So let's throw them in. What we have is an advanced processor. So let's just throw them all in and then explain. Oh, not that one. Okay, so here's some of the common things that you're going to be making where you can make your life so much easier. Number 1, let's do the rubber bar with 1 raw rubber. So I created a pattern by putting 1 rubber bar on the left in the crafting grid, and in the output slot I put 1 raw rubber, because when this goes through the furnace you will see that it makes 1 raw rubber, so that can be put in here. Then we've got the 1 rubber bar. Did I just say that right? Sorry, yeah, let's just quickly do that again. 1 raw rubber I put in the crafting grid, and in the output slot I put 1 rubber bar. My apologies, that's the output item. It's actually showing us the graphic. It's just I'll get myself in a bit of a mess. So basically that's 1 raw rubber to 1 rubber bar. This is 1 rubber bar to 1 raw plastic, which you can easily make the patterns. Like I say, put 1 rubber bar on the left, plastic in the output slot. 1 raw rubber in the left crafting grid, and 1 rubber bar in the output slot. Okay, the next common thing that you need is silicon. So you put 1 Certus quartz dust in the crafting grid on the left. The Certus quartz dust is my most abundant out of the different items I can use to make silicon, so that's why I've chose that. And you just put the silicon in the right slot, the output slot, and that gets you your silicon. And the same can be done with the iron bar, the basic processor, and the advanced processor. Now I'm going to go through, and one thing to bear in mind, if you overload your interface, okay, and you make more than one of these items, it's going to be queued and it's going to take ages. So what you do is, I'm only going to put 2 items in each for each redstone furnace. So I'm going to need to make loads of redstone furnaces and attach ME interfaces above them, and I'm going to put just 2 items in. Otherwise, if you do too much on one, it will get overloaded and you'll have a massive bottleneck. Right, okay, so you get the idea of the redstone furnace in the interface and all the different types of items you can start to auto craft. If we move over now to the pulverizer, to give you an idea of what you can do with that, here is one that you can do. This will do 2 pulverized, it will turn 1 iron dust into 2 pulverized iron. So let's give you an example of this. If we go into the crafting terminal And let's do gold because, oh, there's the timer. Okay, well, I'm just going to quickly carry on to show this example. Okay, so let's do gold because I use a lot of gold. And what I'm looking for is, do I have any gold dust? It'd be easier if I just type gold in. Do I have any gold dust? No, I don't. But I do have pulverized gold ore, and I think that's the one that I can use. Yeah, cool. So, right, I only need one, but you know what? Let's just grab it all, because it saves my storage getting full. Okay, now what I can do, let's just quickly, oh, I haven't got my chest. I must do another chest down there. What I want to quickly do is sleep, because I don't want to get blown up. Not at the height of my magnificence. Okay, and let's throw all of these dusts in the chest. We will grab one out. Okay, so we're going to turn dust into gold dust powder, into pulverized dust. So we're going to need 2 of the pulverized dust. Let's grab another one of them. Let's go down here to my pulverizer. Let's throw that in. Okay, now if I go back to my crafting monitor or terminal, I should have 2. Okay, I've got a stack of it. I'm just going blind. Right, we just need 2 because basically the dust outputs to 2 pulverized gold. So now what we do, we go to the pattern encoder, clear that out. We put our gold ore dust there, and 2, because remember when that gets pulverized it will output 2 of the dust, so make sure you put 2 in there. Encode. That's now got us our pattern for this. Clear that. We now go down to our pulverizer, well, in actual fact the interface. We will stick that in there. We will now go into our crafting terminal. Let's throw all of this in here because we don't need it. Okay, so if I type in gold, okay, you will observe I've got 294. Now let's say I want 1,000. There's 2 ways you can go about that. You can either try and empty that into your pocket so you can then craft, or you can just simply click here, change this to craft. There we go. I can now craft. Remember, it's only showing this because I've put gold in here. If I hadn't have put gold up there, it will show everything that I can make. So we want gold, and I want 1,000 gold. So if we go back to viewed items, and if I type gold back in, I've got 294, so I want 706. So let's craft 706. And then begin. Right, now if we look at the pulverizer, there you go, it's happily churning away and will now auto craft me 706 of the pulverized gold dusts. That's how cool this is. It really, really is. And we can do this now for any item. In the next episode we're going to get 100 times more cool because we are going to start auto crafting like pros, and you're going to see the most awesome item, in my humble opinion, that has ever graced Minecraft. You're going to see the best item, machine, whatever you want to call it, the best. I just absolutely love it to bits. We're going to have a ton of fun. Wherever you are in the world, God bless you and keep every last one of you safe. Thank you for watching and have a fantastic day. Goodbye.